recess meeting of Tuesday, January the 17th, 2006. The first item of business is approval of the official agenda.
Mr. Mayor, I'd recommend that you pull off the consent agenda under A, number 1, and approval of the site plan for Crabtree Properties, and put that on the regular agenda.
And by like token, number 2 under A on the consent agenda, the Belmont Park subdivision final plat.
So that's numbers 1 and 2.
That is 1 and 2.
I'm going to put that up here at the
Mr. Mayor, did you desire for a couple of matters to go in your committee report?
Alderman Perkins, I think the mayor
Yes,
will call on us for a report at the appropriate times on the agenda as opposed to trying to move those items.
That's fine. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I didn't know what they were talking these days. So do we have an approval of the agenda with those two particular items of the consent being removed?
Mayor, I move that we approve the agenda as amended.
Do we have a second to that? Motion with a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We will now give Mr. Young, recognize you, Mr. McLaurin, and Mr. Vice Mayor, if y'all will come up and assist me.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
John, we've kind of gotten around the folks that have known you all these years and that have appreciated your longevity here. Mr. McLaurin, who you started working for, not as a policeman, but Mr. Perkins here. And we have a plaque here in recognition of your 28.5 years of loyal, dedicated service to the city of Starkville. Starting off as a city police officer from August the 16th, 77 to May the 15th, 1980. And last serving in the mayor's office as personnel director. All right, dedicated service from 77 through January 20, 2006. Presented on the 7th day of January 2006, Robert D. Camp, Mayor, Roy Perkins, Vice Mayor, Marquita Outlaw, City Clerk, and Alderman McLaurin. Congratulations. Congratulations to you.
They asked me to make a couple of comments. Of course, my relationship with John started back some years ago. A student in one of my classes out at the university. Of course, I was younger than he at the time. He came along a little bit later. And of course, it's my pleasure, along with Kerry, to take credit for everything that you approve of that he's done. The things you don't approve of, he learned after I left the city and from other people. When he left the police department, he joined at that time Community Development, City Federal Programs, the Planning Division, and we worked, as some of you older gentlemen and ladies will remember, on a multitude of federal projects in which the city was involved. And John worked diligently on those programs and expanded into handling a number of special projects for the city. Sometimes I wonder of late if he did not end up getting everything else that people thought were too tough or controversial or too much of a problem to handle, and they preferred that someone else handled it. Well, he took it and worked with it and ran with it and did a good, commendable job. And it's my pleasure to join everyone in congratulating him on his retirement.
Mr. Young, very briefly, I just want to say that I really appreciate the many years that I worked with you as an alderman, and this is our fourth term together, and I began here on about July 6th of 1993, and you've shown genuine service, very dedicated, loyal, faithful, and untiring service to the city, and we want to commend you for that, and we're going to greatly miss you, and we hope that your future endeavors will be very successful. And again, congratulations for all your contribution to the city of Starkville, and best wishes in the future. Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, ma'am.
I know I'm not a part of this, but I have one question I'd like to ask Ms. Young. Can I still call him? I need him.
Well, I got a little bit out of helter here, which I didn't have my glasses on reading the agenda, which, well, not many things, right. The first thing should have been the recognition of our fire department for being the state representative on the creation of the International Association of Fire Chiefs National Fire Service Intrastate Mutual and Aid System. And congratulations again to our fire department for another fine honor in which they keep on rolling up, don't they, Chief? Yes, sir. We're very much indebted to y'all's fine work and so forth. Our next item is the approval of the minutes of the regular recess meeting of December the 20th. Has everyone had an opportunity to look at them? And do I have a motion for the minutes approval?
Mayor, I would like to make a motion that we approve the minutes of December 20th, 2005.
Do we have a second or questions?
Second.
We have a motion with a second that we approve the minutes of the regular meeting of December, the recess meeting, excuse me, of December 20, 2005. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please raise your hands. This brings us to the annual report of the municipal courts. Judge,
Yes.
you'll step up and give us your annual report.
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor and Board of Aldermen, thank you for the opportunity to appear before you tonight. The mayor has already expressed my purpose, that is to give the annual report of the municipal court. You should have in your packet information sheet on municipal court. Does anybody not have that bar graph sheet? These figures go back several years, as you can see. They show us where we've been, they show us where we are today, and where we will probably go in the future. Let's look very briefly at some of these figures. You'll note that the first bar graph on your top left deals with traffic citations. They were, for the year 2005, 9,723 cases, up from 2004 of 6,594 cases, for a total increase of 3,129 cases. The DUIs were also up significantly, 292 in 2005. We had 206 in 2004, for an increase of 86 DUI cases. The largest category is the misdemeanor increase, where we had 1,572 misdemeanor cases last year, up from 1,028 in 2004. This is about a 50% increase in misdemeanor cases, an increase of 544 cases. I think by and large, most of these cases, at least the increase came from increased activity from the ABC state agents who seem to have spent a great deal of time in our community enforcing the alcohol laws of the state. In particular, unlawful possession, possession underage, false ID cards, and that sort of thing. You'll note that the felonies are about the same. In this community, in 2005, we had 236 as opposed to 2004, 248, down 12. The total number of new cases, as you note down at the bottom, is 11,531 cases in 2005, up from 8,072 cases in 2004, an increase of some 3,455 cases. We also had a very significant increase in the court collections for 2005. As you can see, 2005 was a record-setting year for the municipal court. It is the largest number of cases that we've ever had go through our court. I am pleased to report that the municipal court is functioning well. The court administrator, whom I have with me tonight, Mr. Rook, and the clerks are diligent in their duties in serving the city of Starkville and its citizenry. The court continues to enjoy a good working relationship with the various law enforcement agencies of the city and county and state. Our thanks go to Chief David Lindley. I don't know if the chief is here tonight. Chief, our thanks go to Chief Lindley, Assistant Chief John Outlaw. I don't know if Chief Outlaw is here tonight or not. Of the Starkville Police Department, as well as Sheriff Goff Bryan of the Oktibbeha County Sheriff's Department for their cooperation. The court is particularly appreciative of the bailiffs that the police department furnishes us, for without them we could not maintain order. We could not maintain an orderly flow of cases through our court system. Also, along those same lines, the court is also appreciative of the work that the police department does in keeping our court safe for all the people that participate in it, in particular dealing with the security device out in the hallway, and the sheriff, and transporting and making available the on sometimes at very short notice the prisoners that we have to deal with. The court has been very fortunate for the last 18 months to have had the services of Mr. Rodney Favor, who has done a truly outstanding job as the municipal court prosecutor. Mr. Favor has been a strong prosecutor, was always well prepared, and has represented the city of Starkville well in the Starkville Municipal Court. Our thanks go to you, Mr. Favor, and our best wishes go with you as you leave this position. The court, of course, is pleased to welcome back as the municipal prosecutor Mr. Roy Carpenter, who has been on active military duty serving in Iraq for the last 18 months. His first court appearance, I believe, is supposed to be Thursday of this week. We would welcome him back and are thankful for his safe return back to us from that war. The court is primed and ready to adjudicate code violations which may be brought before it the court has been and will be a strict enforcer of the city ordinances and the city code violations which may occur. As we all know, the municipal court continues to function in our present facilities, which are severely overcrowded and inadequate. The facilities are overcrowded for municipal court personnel. The prosecutor has no office. There are no offices for defense counsel. If a defense counsel wants to talk with his client or her client or a witness, they have to do so out here in the hallway or outside. There are no witness rooms available. There's very little privacy because there's just no space down here. The municipal judge shares a small office with the court administrator. We have no appropriate place to meet with the public. There's simply not enough space for court personnel for their work and records. Our facilities are also overcrowded for citizens with citations, those that are charged with crimes, and those who appear before me that may have some type of problem that they want to address. We have a number of citizens who appear before us that have trespassers, that have some violations of the law that they have to appear before me, and I establish probable cause for the issuance of an arrest warrant. Our facilities are just inadequate, as you know. Monday night court sessions commonly experience citizens lining the hallway because of the increase in the number of cases and inadequate courtroom space. I want to thank you for your past and present efforts for an adequate court facility. I know that you are working on this diligently, and I appreciate your efforts on our behalf. The court has two recommendations before you tonight that I want to make. Recommendation one. In light of the increase in the caseload in 2005 and probable continued heavy docket, one immediate action that would help to prevent overcrowding would be one additional court term per week. Should the caseload continue at the approximate number in 2006 as we had in 2005, I recommend one additional court term per week on Wednesday afternoons. We could monitor the figures for the first quarter of 2006 and possibly take action in April after we see if this is either a spike in the statistics or if it is if it's going to continue this way. After talking with the chief of police and the court administrator, they anticipate that there will not be any decrease in the number of cases, but we'll have to wait and see. So one possible thing to do is we could monitor for a quarter, and then if the caseload is still high, then take some action a little bit later on. Or we could move forward now in anticipation that the caseload will remain about the same on whatever timetable the board deems as appropriate. Wednesday afternoons, I believe, would be the best time if the court, if the board would approve this recommendation. Wednesday afternoons beginning at 1 o'clock for the following reasons. One is that we already have court on Mondays and Thursdays. Tuesdays, Mr. Carpenter is in Justice Court. And of course, you have your board meetings on alternating Tuesdays in the evening. Friday is just not a good day to have court. For those who have conflicts, those who go to church on Wednesday night, the court could accommodate them. If they have trials or if they have to be in court and there's a conflict between going to church and being in court, we can accommodate those people by putting them at the top of the next court docket for disposition of their particular case. And number 5, Mr. Carpenter and other lawyers of the Starkville and Oktibbeha County Bar Association believe that Wednesday at 1 o'clock would be the best time and the best day of the week. I believe another court term would alleviate a significant amount of overcrowding in City Hall. It would improve safety here. It would give the court sufficient time to deal with code violations, and it would be a good service to the citizens of this community. My second recommendation is the employment of a delinquent fine collection clerk for the municipal court. The primary duty of this clerk would be to pursue individuals who owe money to the city of Starkville in the form of unpaid fines. Ultimately, if individuals refuse to pay their fines, a contempt affidavit could be executed by this clerk, and a warrant could be issued by the judge with an appropriate bond set to have the police department arrest this individual and have this individual brought before the court to show cause why they should not be held in contempt for non-payment of their fines. The court does have tools at its disposal for enforcing fines in the form of contempt citations. The court has jurisdiction to fine up to $1,000 and or confine up to 6 months for contempt citations. So I believe this would be a very valuable tool for the collection of further revenues for the city of Starkville. And I believe the salary of this clerk would be paid several times over, with the beneficiary, of course, being the city of Starkville, with increased revenues from collecting fines. So in closing, let me summarize by saying these 2 recommendations for your consideration. 1, an additional court term on Wednesdays beginning at 1 p.m. At whatever timetable the board would care to set. And secondly, the employment of a delinquent fines collection clerk for the court. I want to thank you for the opportunity to be here with you tonight. And further, I want to thank you for your past and present support of the municipal court of this city. I would be pleased to entertain any questions that any of you might have at this time.
Mr. Mayor and Board, we of course want to thank Judge Issue for his report. I would move that we accept this report with thanks, and given the fact that his recommendations have implications relative to organization and operation of the city and to the budget of the city, that the recommendations be referred to both of those committees for a recommendation back to the board at an early date for your consideration.
Second.
We have a motion and second. All those in favor of the motion and second, please raise your hands. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you very much for your report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
It brings us down to the approval of the consent agenda items that are left after those have been removed. And I will start by saying an approval of the site plan review for Eric and Art Cosby for an RV and boat storage facility located on Industrial Park Road. Approval of the site plan review for a mixed-use PUD by Corey Ardler and for the north side of Russell Street between Maxwell and Colonel Muldrow. Approval of the site review for the USDA office building at the southeast corner of US 25 North and Reed Road. City clerk's approval of the claims docket for the time ending January 12, 2006. Report of the receipts and expenditures for the period ending November the 30th, 2005, in accordance with 21-35-13 of the Mississippi Code of 1972. The electric department requests authorization of a 60-day extension of the meter reading contract with North Mississippi Utility Service. Number 2, on their request authorization for the mayor to sign a change order for a decrease in the bid price of $94,500 to the construction price of an alternative 13 kV feeder to the research park on Highway 182 East. Request authorization for the mayor to sign certificate of substantial completion for the construction of an alternative 13 kV feeder to the research park on Highway 182 East. Fire Department, authorization to participate in National Fire Safety Council. Police Department, request authorization for Officer Laura Hines to attend an out-of-state hostage crisis negotiation school in Collierville, Tennessee, from January 30th through February the 1st, 2006. Number 2, request authorization of payment for the registration fee of $365 per diem and hotel expenses for Officer Laura Hines to attend this hostage crisis negotiation school in the amount of $759.50. Public Services, request authorization for the mayor to sign the final loan and payment agreement for wastewater collection system improvements in the amount of $3,755,789. Sanitation Department, request for reclassification of Ulysses Gandy from commercial driver to commercial driver hyphen foreman, grade 7, step 4B, at a salary of $22,329.50. Number 2, request authorization to reclassify BP Buford from temporary commercial full-time driver to regular full-time driver at a salary of $19,138.39. Those are the items that are left on the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Mayor, pending any additional items that any of my fellow colleagues would like moved from the consent agenda to the regular agenda, I move that we approve the consent agenda of January 17th, 2006.
Do we have a second?
I'm sorry.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of the motion and the second, please raise your hand. Thank you. This brings us down to our